outside of the Super Bowl as well, we had some head coaches get hired in the NFL, some offensive coordinators get hired in the NFL. First things first, I'll let y'all talk about Mike McCarthy becoming the new head coach of the Steelers. If anybody's an avid NFL fan, they remember Mike McCarthy from, his days with Aaron Rodgers or his most recent time with the Cowboys here. But I'm kind of split on it, so I actually kind of want to hear your guys' opinion first on this one.
I will say first and foremost, the way that people are reacting, we just hired Greg Roman to be our head coach is
outlandish, bro. Outlandish, and I never use that word.
I will say, Mike McCarthy wouldn't have been my first choice personally, but are we really going to discredit Mike McCarthy like he hasn't won in this league for years and years and years? I know he only has one Super Bowl. That's like one of the things that people are discrediting, whatever. He went to the Cowboys and had three straight 12-win seasons. He brought them to the playoffs. He got them a couple wins in the playoffs. He took a year off last year. I'm personally a fan of it. I think that it's going to be great. It's going to be interesting to see because now I think it's a possibility that Aaron Rodgers could come back now again, bro. It's possible. Want to play with his former coach? It could definitely be a thing. They already asked him about it, and he said he'd love to have Rodgers back. I personally am a fan of the hire, especially after I saw his interview to come in. It was great, man. The guy loves Pittsburgh. He grew up in Pittsburgh. He was born in Pittsburgh. He's a Steelers fan. And just to look at somebody and just know, like, he's so passionate about getting this team to where they need to be. And I think that he's going to do a great job. And another thing I'm a big fan of is we have an offensive-minded head coach. Yeah. It is the first time in a very long time that obviously, because Tomlin's been there for 20 years. But it's like we actually have a guy who's going to be trying to develop these quarterbacks like Will Howard. I think this is huge for Will Howard. I think this is huge for the offense and young guys that are coming up and developing. Because we know McCarthy he was a big play in developing Aaron Rodgers. I learned this, I actually didn't know, is Aaron Rodgers actually didn't have his sidearm mechanics forever. He used to throw overhand at Cal, yep. And it wasn't as successful, and it was something that they looked into and they figured out somehow. I don't know how, like, that's a lot of trial and error, I'll tell you that, to eventually get to release, because that's an interesting release. But I mean, now he's a 4-time MVP. He went to Dallas. He got Dak to a certain level, and Dak was performing much higher than anyone could have thought. I personally am a fan of it. I think it's a good hire for the Steelers. He probably would have been like my second to third choice if I were, but I'm obviously not employed by the Steelers, so I can't choose. I'm a fan. I think it's like, let's just see how this works out, because I tell you what, we definitely didn't get the worst guy out there with who's getting hired these days. So I like it personally.
Yeah, I think everybody just completely overreacted. I think the fact that it wasn't Harbaugh, that it wasn't a Jesse Minter, that it wasn't somebody young and knows like everything about offense is just outlandish to everybody. Like, and everybody thinks it's just a horrible idea to bring him in. He's an experienced head coach. He's a Super Bowl winning head coach, and he's a head coach who knows more about offense than any coach that we've had in the past 10 years, maybe. Like, we have not had a single offense coordinator, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that has come and went and gone to be a head coach. I don't think that happened under Mike Tomlin in at least the past 10 years. Mike Tomlin is not an offensive head coach. He's a defensive head coach. We had a great defense for the past 10 years. That's something that he did, that he built. He's smart about it. He knows about it. Why are you mad about somebody bringing in an offensive-minded head coach when we haven't had a good quarterback since Big Ben? Mike Tomlin did not draft Big Ben. Big Ben was there before Mike Tomlin, meaning he wasn't his choice. He didn't have to go and scout and pick Big Ben in the first round. He already had Big Ben. He already had a great quarterback. He already had great receivers. He just had to build a defense that was confident enough to win championships, which he did. After Big Ben left, since you're not a head coach, an offensive head coach, you can't really develop or know the best talent out there for your team at the time. You've had Duck Hodges, you've had Kenny Pickett, you've had Mason Rudolph, you've had all these quarterbacks under defensive head coaches who are trying to develop but can't because they're not in an offensive system. Now you bring in an offensive system. Aaron Rodgers isn't going to be there for the next 2-3 years. So what do? You develop Will Howard or you draft another quarterback to develop in the next 2 years under an offensive head coach. He's 63. I get it. He's 10 years older than Mike Tomlin. Whatever. He's an offensive head coach. We need that. We don't know anything about offense right now in an offensive league, and it's killing us. So the fact that we get him, we get a good defensive coordinator. You said who was it, Dom?
I was going to say we brought in Patrick Graham. We might as well talk about that for a sec too.
Yeah, we brought in Patrick Graham. So I feel like
Who's Patrick?
I feel like we can actually win with McCarthy. Yes, we're probably going to be another 9-8, 10-17 with a middle of the pack draft class. He's going to make us better in the next 2-3 years in terms of development on offense in the receiver room and in the quarterback room. Like you said, he had Aaron Rodgers and Dak Prescott develop like crazy. And then you had wide receivers who you didn't botch on. Because obviously you turned Devontae Adams into one of the best receivers. You've had Jordy Nelson. You had is that something from you, Gabe? Did you want to?
I'm bro, y'all been going 3 minutes a pop. I'm tired of hearing both y'all say he developed Aaron Rodgers, bro.
I'm not saying he's an offensive-minded head coach. Aaron Rodgers probably would have been Aaron Rodgers under another head coach, but we don't know.
Aaron Rodgers got drafted by a whole nother head coach. Mike McCarthy was on the Niners staff when Aaron Rodgers got drafted, and he actually was a part of
did Aaron Rodgers start until Mike McCarthy?
And that's my point as well, is who was developing him in the back end was who they had there when Mike was gone, before Aaron actually had the chance to start games when Mike got there. I'm not going to give a guy credit for developing somebody when he wasn't even there until bro got to start. He wasn't even there.
Until he got to start.
Brett Favre helped the development of Aaron Rodgers.
Brett Favre didn't want to help Aaron Rodgers. He said that himself.
Watching Brett Favre is a privilege regardless of if he wants to help you or not. It's going to help.
Throwing into triple
I'd give a lot more credit. Aaron, we were talking about MVPs. I think Brett Favre also has 3 MVPs. Just saying.
Nobody's discrediting what Brett Favre is.
Let me just finish. I let y'all go for 3 minutes. Hold on. Give me a second. Mike McCarthy is not a bad head coach. Not bad. Solid head coach. He is an offensive-minded head coach, and I do like that aspect of him as well. But I think where everybody go on the negative side is you guys are looking at it from the complete positive side, right? He won with Rodgers, right? He got things done with Dak Prescott. The side that most people are looking at is he was only able to get 1 Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers, which I know you said that's not, he got a Super Bowl. I get it. And sometimes it was on the defense as well. But I don't think that Mike, he's an offensive head coach, yes, but his offenses don't always produce. He also has odd play calling at times, really odd. Like when he was on the Cowboys, that's where I was like, bro, Mike McCarthy's running a really old style offense that I don't know is working a lot anymore. And then I know the Cowboys acquired Pickens. That's a huge addition. But the second Mike left, the Cowboys offense looked way more electric. Also, he has a track record for coaching really bad in the playoffs. Now, I think Mike is great. Like I said, I actually don't hate or dislike the hire. However, I do think we're giving him a little too much credit for what he was able to do with Aaron Rodgers and him having some 12-win seasons with the Cowboys. That's great. That's cool. But I don't think Mike was the main beneficiary to what got them there. I think he was just kind of a part of the path to get there, more so than this guy's adding a ton.
If he's the head coach of a Super Bowl winning team, you can't say that he wasn't a main factor.
That's true.
If that's your guys' opinion, that's fine. But I don't think
I
Mike
think
was like a
it's
crazy
the
factor.
word
He
It.
he
guys for
probably
what
wasn't the number one factor. Aaron
Well,
Rodgers
I don't
probably
even think he
was.
was a top 5 factor in
But
any
also,
of the
okay,
recent
the points
games.
that you also pointed out, I get it. Those are good points. Those are true points. Sometimes he has offenses that don't play up to how well they are supposed to. Their expectations fall well short of those. But most coaches, most head coaches can't call plays. And a lot of play callers nowadays can't call plays within a 2 minute drill. So let's not sit here and think that there's a whole bunch of coaches on the market, offensive minded head coaches, who are a lot better than Mike McCarthy. There were a couple of them, and I get that. Mike McCarthy wasn't our first choice, but let's not sit here and act like he's just, a mid coach that doesn't really
I
know
like I
all of
said,
it.
he's a
okay.
solid head
Also,
coach.
real quick, Mike
Solid head coach.
McCarthy was hired in 06. Aaron Rodgers was drafted in 05. So
That's what I said, bro. I
one
said Aaron
It's
got
one year.
drafted when
It's one
Mike
year.
year.
was
It's his
there.
That's a
rookie year. It's
singular
his
year
rookie
that he
year,
wasn't
Dave.
even he wasn't even playing.
Mike was a part of the Niners staff, which was notorious for passing up on Aaron Rodgers when they had the opportunity to pick him, and he was a major part of the decision to pass up on Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers was
I
not
don't think you
great.
should be killed 20 years in the future for making a bad decision on a
Well, but you
prospect.
also can't give a guy props for a dude he didn't even want to
We're
draft.
really gonna act like the OC has the decision to draft a quarterback. Are we really gonna say that right now?
I
Are
said
we
they have a
They
strong
do have a
decision
strong
on it. He
opinion.
was very vocal about I don't
5
want
years
Rodgers.
ago? You're like the fifth.
You're taking it to the
No,
max.
yeah, that's
I'm
what I'm saying.
saying you
Yo,
can't
okay,
have your cake and eat it too. Y'all are giving me
okay,
both sides
Gabe,
of the opinion.
Gabe, was Brock Purdy Mr. Irrelevant? That means that 250 plus times GMs were like, nah, I'm good on Brock Purdy. I don't want
Right,
him.
and I'm not going to give credit to a dude who
Okay,
just
and I
put up on the
understand that,
Niners
but you
after
can't
he
give him
got
crap 20
drafted when we
years in
didn't
the
even
future.
want him.
You can't give him crap in 2046 when you're like, oh, you passed on Brock Purdy, so you're a mid head coach because you passed on Brock Purdy.
All I was saying is that we're giving Mike McCarthy a lot of props for a guy he didn't even want to pick. He didn't even want Aaron Rodgers on the team that he was on when Rodgers got picked.
He helped turn him
He
into
didn't
one of
even
the
want
best quarterbacks of all time, though. Just saying.
Right. He did. And I'm giving that credit to Aaron Rodgers,
See,
not
that's
to
great.
Mike McCarthy.
Next question. Next discussion, man. Next discussion, man. I feel like we're on first take and
That's
we're
my
hearing
opinion.
such
Like, it's
a
like
crazy
how.
take.
No, the last thing I'm going to say is does anybody give Bill Belichick any credit for how good Tom Brady is? Aaron Rodgers is debatably the best. People, I have never heard the opinion that somebody says Bill is what
There's
made
no
Tom.
Bill without Tom. There's no Tom without Bill, bro. Come on. That's
But
why
with
they
Mike,
won Super
that.
Bowls. That's why they won so many
He's
Super Bowls together.
okay, but Bill is a defensive head coach. He doesn't really develop quarterbacks all like that. That's why he had a Josh McDaniels.
I don't know. I've just never. It's rare that I get like I think there's very few people that I give tons of credit for their ability to develop quarterbacks because sometimes quarterbacks come in and they just got it.
What
Or they
about
just
wide
don't.
receivers? He developed a whole lot of wide receivers, and I'm talking about a whole lot of them in Green Bay.
Bro, any
But he's
coach.
a head coach, not a wide receivers coach.
He's still a head coach, though. You can't.
Developing wide receivers is the wide receivers coach's job. That's why they have a wide receivers coach.
Completely understandable, and I get that. But you can't sit here and say he has no impact on it.
I didn't say none. I'm just trying to meet y'all in the middle. I feel like y'all were
No,
giving a little
it
too much
literally said
credit.
give the credit of Rodgers' development to Aaron Rodgers. That's literally what you just said.
You're right. You're right.
I think
I'm going to give
we're
credit
just.
to Aaron Rodgers. Does that mean Mike didn't help him at all? No. But does that mean I'm going to make a statement and say Mike significantly helped Aaron Rodgers become Aaron Rodgers? Fuck no.
Gabe, I think we're here and you're here, and it's okay. It's fine. I don't think we're gonna meet. I don't think we're gonna meet in the middle because that's just too much of a gap. But it's okay.
We know we could talk about the Steelers forever. I'll do what I did for you guys in terms of trying to give a devil's advocate for an argument that I believe in, and just started off by saying, Todd Monken, new head coach of the Cleveland Browns, dislike it. Dislike it. The guy did nothing as an OC with the Ravens. He had Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry. They still weren't able to do anything in the playoffs. He was ROC in 2019, didn't do much during 2019. And on top of that, Dom brought it up earlier today in our group chat. I didn't actually know until I fact check it. It frustrated Jim Schwartz, our defensive coordinator, that we overlooked him and his candidacy to be our next head coach. And I think Todd Monken, man, I don't know what the Browns are doing at the moment. I honestly see Jim Schwartz actually of higher value to the Browns organization than a Todd Monken. I think the players really rallied around Jim Schwartz. They spoke avidly about how they would love for him to be the head coach, and I think Jim Schwartz has the tools to be a head coach. Just as you guys said, Mike was a Super Bowl winning head coach. Jim Schwartz was a Super Bowl winning DC. And his guys loved him over there as well in Philly. So I'm kind of upset about the Todd Monken hiring today. I was not expecting to see that at all. And then when it happened and I saw Jim Schwartz was frustrated and now wants to leave, it made me even more frustrated. And I don't see a path with Todd Monken being our head coach for a long time either. Like I don't see him as somebody who guys rally around him. I don't even see him as an effective play caller, and he's supposed to be an offensive-minded head coach. So I'd like to hear your guys' takeaways on this one too, but I think that was a big flop by the Cleveland Browns today.
Yeah, first of all, I didn't even know this. This is his first head coaching job in the NFL. He's never been a head coach in the NFL. He's bounced around as an offensive coordinator. He was, like you said, he was on the Browns. But, dude, it's not good when you see stints and it's 1 year. It's 1 year.
They're all 1 years, 3 years.
I would say Tampa, he was the offensive coordinator for 1 year, and then he went to the Browns for 1 year. Then he went to Georgia for 2 years, and then he came and then he was in Baltimore for 2 years. Honestly, I think that this is a massive slap in the face to the Browns players, along with Browns fans. I think that this is, it's like you say you don't know what the Browns are doing, but I feel like we've been asking that our whole lives, bro. It's crazy how you just consistently do the wrong thing. And obviously, I'm a Steelers fan. I don't like the fucking Browns, but just trying to look at this from like the fan perspective, I would be so mad if this was my situation. You have a good defensive coordinator who could have been a good head coach, and now you just pissed him off to the point where he doesn't even want to be there anymore. So you're going to lose one of the better defensive coordinators to bring in a guy who's not only never been a head coach in the NFL, but was a very subpar head coach in NCAA. He went 13-26 in his career as a head coach in college football. Along with that, he wasn't successful in the NFL at an offensive coordinator level. We see the Ravens, like you said. How are you not doing anything, winning 7-8 games with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry? It makes no sense to me. I think that this is a bomb by the Browns. I think that there was infinite better options. I not actually infinite, but I really think that you could. We had a
better option sitting in our practice facility.
That's the thing, bro. Is like not now. Now the whole thing is like even if he stayed, right, it would be a whole different story if Jim Schwartz was staying. I still think the hire's bad, but now this is like a double down of like it's even worse now because you're probably going to lose DC somewhere else, who was the best coach you guys had on the team. And now you have a head coach where it's going to be a massive question mark. So I think that it's horrible by the Browns, and I'm extremely pissed off if I was a fan.
And to be honest, too, Jerry, before you take it away, people know, man. I think Jim Schwartz was also frustrated because they hired Todd Monken. People know. Look, let me put this situation here. Guy's at his job for a long time. This could be any random job. Not even talking about the NFL. You feel like you're deserving of a promotion, and then they give it to an underperformer. What does that make you want to do?
An underperformer from a lead competitive company.
That job. And if the Browns hired a competent head coaching option, a more competent head coaching option, let me rephrase, I feel like that wouldn't have made him want to leave. Because Jim Schwartz actually liked Cleveland. I definitely think it pissed him off a little bit that it was Todd Monken.
Yeah, I think that, of course, the Jim Schwartz situation makes it 10 times worse because he created your defense into what it was today. It's not the best defense, but for what your offense has been the past couple of years, it's the best that you were going to get.
It also has been the best under Jim Schwartz before, legitimately.
So it's like you go out and you hire, I get it, you want an offensive head coach for your team that is young offensively and has a lot of potential but doesn't have a lot of, leeway and paths that are clear right now. You don't go and get an unproven offensive coordinator who, like you guys said, couldn't work with superstars in this game while also derailing your defensive coordinator who's in the same building. And I completely understand that it's a horrible decision, but we got to think about it, right? They're having coaches do homework. They're having coaches write essays. They're having coaches do these things to come in. These coaches have mountains of experience. They're not college kids ready to come take an exam. They know what they're doing. They know what they're here for. They want to make you better. Right now, Cleveland, you need everything because everything in your building is a question mark. From head coaches to quarterbacks to defensive backs, everything right now except Myles Garrett is a question mark.
Harold
and then
Fannin.
you add a question mark you add a question mark head coach. It makes no sense. You add another question to a questionnaire that was 50 questions long. It makes no sense. So I don't think whoever you were going to hire wasn't going to be a good hire anyway because a lot of the top head coaches.
It was going to be Jim Schwartz. That's really
Jim Schwartz. It wasn't going to be one of the top head coaches on the market, but it was going to be somebody that you can at least come in and build around. And he can have. We talked about it a little while ago and a couple weeks ago. You need someone who's going to have command of that locker room. Somebody who the locker room can trust and can respect and can learn how to understand their system. Learn how to understand their personality and how to feed off that and go win games. You can't do that with a Todd Monken, bro. That's just not what you're going to do. Whoever you were going to hire was going to be a scapegoat for your latter years when you got better after the development. You got another scapegoat coming after Todd Monken because he isn't going to do much for you.
He's stunting development.
Man, creating no development. But outside of that, yes, I'm a sad Browns fan. Yes, Todd Monken is now our head coach.
You can always trade, bro. The terrible towel's calling your name, Gabe.
No. Are you crazy? No.
You could come to the Jags, who you've hated for a long time.
I am a Browns fan for the rest of my life, no matter what happens. I will always be a Browns fan. I'm not going to be no Bengals fan.
That's why we respect the heck out of you guys. We respect you guys more than we respect some Steelers fans because y'all go through it, but y'all stick with it, man.
Feeling like Leo DiCaprio in Wolf of Wall Street. I'm not fucking leaving. All right. Out of other head coaches as well that got hired, we got Joe Brady getting hired as the head coach for the Buffalo Bills. Now this one, University, I feel like Bills fans alike, NFL fans alike, they don't really quite agree with it. Joe Brady, he's been the Bills OC for past few seasons with them. I'd say past couple, not few, past couple. And people haven't actually really enjoyed his play calling very much. Buffalo and places alike, like I said, outside of Buffalo. So that one, I was a little bit kind of thrown off. That kind of feels to me like they just wanted to... The Browns didn't hire anybody in the building, right? But in the Bills' case, I feel like they just kind of wanted to hire somebody in the building and not really mess with their mojo too much. Them hiring Joe Brady, to me, tells me that the front office thinks that they have a Super Bowl contending roster already there, and they just need to build on it. So I think that was kind of a comfortability move. I actually would have liked to see the Bills, I think, go out and get somebody else, but that who is where it's the problem. There's a couple guys you could go out and try and get, but if I was the Bills, I would try and poach somebody because I'm probably going to give you a better opportunity. The Bills have been, at least getting to the playoffs practically every season for the last few years, and they can go and poach somebody. They probably could have offered, Robert Saleh, and he'd consider it. Or you could offer a OC Clint Kubiak, from the Seahawks to be your head coach, and maybe he'd even consider it. So they had more options. I was a bit thrown off by that one, but I will say my overall opinion. I think comfortability in their case could either be it could be good or bad. I don't know confidently what I'm gonna say on that one. It just was kind of a little threw everybody for a little loop.
Yeah, I think this one, it's really going to be time will tell with how good the hire is. I don't think that Joe Brady is necessarily a bad OC, but I do see what you're saying with, like, the biggest reason Sean McDermott got fired was because he was questioning the roster. He's questioning, do we have what it takes to win a Super Bowl? And he certainly didn't think the roster was built to win a Super Bowl, and that's why he got the boot. So the reason they're hiring team in-house is because they're saying, hey, you're going to take over this team and you're going to like it, or you're going to be out of here pretty much. Because then whoever else they'd bring in would bring in a whole new offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and he wouldn't have a job. So I really do think it's more of a control thing by the front office. They're trying to dodge bullets, but this team is good. Obviously, you have Josh Allen, which is massive when you have one of the better players at that position and being an MVP. But outside of Josh Allen, there's a lot of question marks on this team, and I think that this move is them trying to hide from those question marks.
It is.
But like I said, I think that really only time will tell with this on whether or not it works well.
Yeah, right now I'm kind of in the middle. I agree. I'm kind of in the middle. I'm not sure.
The Bills GM has to be on an extreme hot seat right now. The hot seat better be lava right now, bro. You can't not surround Josh Allen with a whole bunch of pieces. He has had minimum to no help the past couple seasons since Diggs left. And then you fire a head coach, which I get it. You lost so many times in the playoffs so many different ways. I understand that. Joe Brady is absolutely one of the worst things you could do in your decision. Why would you do that? I don't understand it. You promote offensive coordinator who's been mid with the best freaking quarterback probably in the past couple years. Top 3 guaranteed. You have a whole lot of different pieces you could build around on defense. I get it. You don't have a whole lot of pieces in your secondary, but Greg Rousseau and all those guys are still really good. You have a whole bunch of draft picks, and you have a whole bunch of talent that you could bring in. You have to have somebody who can command an offense and can also command a whole entire locker room. Joe Brady is not that. I don't think Joe Brady, since his times at LSU, Joe Brady was good at LSU. I think he was with LSU at the time that Joe Burrow was there, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, all them. He might have been there. I'm not sure. I think he was. But other than that, he has not produced whatsoever in the NFL. And you have so many different things, so many different people you can choose from. Uncle Phil was there. Phillip Rivers. You had him in the interview room. I wouldn't have even minded Phillip Rivers, because at least you got somebody who's got 20 years of experience in the NFL. I don't get it. I don't get Joe Brady. I really don't. He's going to be bad for them, and I think he's going to be the scapegoat. And if GM gets off another one where Joe Brady gets fired and he's still there, he pulled off a magic trick.
We'll see what happens with Joe Brady. Couple more hires as well. We'll go over this a little bit quickly. We got Brian Daboll. He got hired as the Titans' offensive coordinator. And I saw that, and I was very surprised. That's one I actually like that move. I think one of the main things I liked about Brian Daboll was his ability to be a player's coach. Right now, we know he didn't execute in the one-score games very well last year. Good thing is that's not his job anymore. His job is to just lead an offense the best way that he knows how to do.
Put up 80 points a game.
And I think that's perfect for Brian Daboll. I think Brian Daboll is also the right guy as well to be an OC for a young Cam Ward. I think that's somebody where Cam Ward can look at him, know that this is a guy that at least has some stability in the NFL. I know he just got fired, but Brian Daboll prior to this year was not really in danger of being fired. He was kind of on the hot seat here and there at times, but I'd say he definitely is a stable coach to have, especially as your OC. I think he's going to be on a lot longer leash as an OC in terms of, we're not just going to let him go super quickly because you got a young quarterback to develop, but those are my main things with Dable. I think it's great that now he can just step back, just lead an offense, and he can be a player's coach to the full amount of his abilities, and they're probably going to want him to because they have that young roster that he's got to build up around him. And it kind of reminds me of what it was like during his beginnings with the Giants. During his beginnings, the Giants got way more glimpse of hope than they'd had in a long time as soon as Dable got there for his ability to juice guys up. So I really like the fit with Cam Ward personally on this one. I think that'll be very productive for the Titans.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I think that this is a great move for the Titans. I don't think that it was the right move for the Giants to really fire Dable. I think you kind of knew the Giants weren't going to be good, and the fact that they were even in these one-score games was honestly more telling of like what's to come in the future than it was like, oh, this is bad, in my opinion at least. But yeah, as a play caller, he's excellent. So it'll be really interesting to see how he can bring Cam Ward along, who showed a lot of great flashes towards the end of the year. Yeah, I think this is huge. Also, as a side note, did you know that Dable is a 5-time Super Bowl champion as an assistant coach?
Wow.
5-time Super Bowl champion.
Where was he at?
Where was he at? New England in the early 2000s.
Wow.
Right. I didn't know that. And also, he was Coach of the Year. He was Coach of the Year a few years ago. So
when it was that year, the Giants got some hope.
I was going to say,
I think the Giants went to the playoffs.
Right. I think the Titans nailed this one, honestly. I think they hit big with this one, and in terms of like offensive coordinators that were out there, I think he was cream of the crop. So shout out to the Titans because they hit this one on the head.
I think Dable is like probably the best decision they could have made. If I'm being honest, you have Robert Saleh, who's a defensive head coach. You've already know that side of the ball is locked down. You got the questions answered. He's going to make sure that he drafts well for that. And you don't have a whole lot of firepower on offense, and that's where Dayball has to come in and actually has to make an impact because you either have to develop people. Okonkwo is pretty good at your tight end. You don't really need a tight end. I feel like Cam and Okonkwo, they mesh pretty well together, so you can keep him in your system right now. Pollard's a solid back that you can get behind. He's a 1,000-yard rusher in Dallas, so he's somebody that can be a bell cow for you for a little bit, be that running back one. You probably get somebody else behind him, and then you stack up on receivers. Brian Daboll,
I'd say Tajay Spears, man. He's good.
Tajay Spears, all right. You got a running back, too, if you want to give credit to Tajay Spears. He's solid. Don't get me wrong, he's solid. Yeah, but, I don't think Tajay Spears is the reason you accept a head coach or an offensive coaching gig, but it's fine.
I think – yeah, sorry, go ahead, Jerry. My fault.
Yeah, no, I just think that what the Titans are doing right now is great for their team. None of us expect them to have a whole lot of success next season. This season is all about, developing, understanding what you bring in, understanding the schemes that you are trying to bring in and trying to implement, and then also just making sure Cam Ward's development is the best as possible. So I think they're doing really good with that. Dayball was great with Daniel Jones's development a little bit. Daniel Jones wasn't really a quarterback that we thought could be a Pro Bowl quarterback, a quarterback that could win you a playoff game. And he did, and now he's looking solid in Indiana. So I think that Dayball is definitely going to be great for Cam Ward. And, that division has always been open. Every single year, I think it's been a new division winner. So, hey, it can be unexpected, but, right now it's open.
Also, I think what I was going to say is you were talking about some of the playmakers in the Titans. You said, well, you said Tajay Spears isn't the reason that you take an OC position for the Titans. None of those dudes are the reason you take an OC position for the Titans. And that's other than Cam Ward, that's actually exactly why you take that position.
You don't want to take a 1,000-yard rusher, Tony Pollard?
No.
Tony? I wouldn't either. I would.
Brian Daboll got the opportunity to do what he had to do with the Giants, and things started out actually looking like he was going to turn it around for them. And I think he's doing that same thing here with the Titans in hopes of, we're going to bring up Cam, The rest of y'all could screw off.
One thing I
With all
will
due
say,
respect, they're going to have a completely different offensive core, I think, in the next 2 years. The only guys I really see staying there is Cam Ward, like you said, maybe Okonkwo, possibly, and I think Kamiri DK. I think Kamiri DK was a great option for the Titans as well last year, but other than those guys, I really don't see a lot of guys staying.
I will say Dayball isn't the most like popular in locker rooms. Like, say when Saquon left, he was still really good, and obviously got better a little bit with the Eagles. Daniel Jones got better completely with the Eagles. Malik Neighbors was amazing, but he didn't really like Dayball. So Dayball, it could be a couple question marks for him as far as how the locker room responds to him later on in the year.
Hey,
But
that's what I said is the good thing. He can be a player's coach and not need to demand as much respect as a head coach because he's just calling plays.
yeah,
Right.
he can be more Daboll-y, if that makes sense, as an
he's
OC.
giving you more praise rather than giving you criticism in that
Exactly.
position. Yeah.
Exactly. And that was the big coaching signings and everything that happened from this past week. I'm just going to bring this up briefly. We don't even have to discuss this. Bill Belichick wasn't a first ballot Hall of Fame head
We
coach.
will discuss this, bro.
Yeah, I gotta
How?
say,
How? Literally, just how? I don't understand. The league did an incredible disservice at whatever kept Bill Belichick out of being a first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't care if he had relations with a wife of someone on the committee. I don't care. He is a first ballot Hall of Fame head coach, no matter whatever way you look at it. And in group chats, some people were like, well, do you think maybe they did this because whenever Tom Brady was gone, the Patriots didn't do nothing or this or that or blah, blah. 8 Super Bowls. 8 Super Bowls.
In 20 years.
He doesn't have enough fingers on one hand to have all his Super Bowls. He needs 2. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care. And like I said, I think they just did
it's 6. It's
incredible
not 8.
research.
It's 6. 6 Super Bowls.
I would like you to double check that.
It is definitely 6 because the Steelers.
He has two as an assistant.
I'm sick of these Super Bowls as assistants, bruh. Come on
Man,
now.
he still got that ring. He still got that ring.
So we giving Super Bowls to athletic trainers then?
Throw them foes up. He got 8 Super Bowl championships.
If I was an athletic trainer, I want a Super Bowl. I'm Super Bowl fucking champion, baby.
Super Bowl champion. You are part of that, baby.
Bruh.
8 Super Bowls on them.
Hey, don't throw that up. Don't throw
Throw them
that
foes up.
So yeah, he's an 8 Super Bowl winning coach. He's a 3-time Coach of the Year on top of all that, and obviously, his success alone as a head coach with New England. He shouldn't have only been a first ballot Hall of Famer. He should have been a unanimous first ballot Hall of Famer.
Unanimous.
I can't
exactly.
believe a single guy that said this coach is not a first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't know. How do you not give the greatest coach in the NFL
to be a first ballot Hall of Famer? You need 60 out of 70 votes. You're telling me that more than 10 people didn't think that Bill Belichick decided or deserved to be in a freaking Hall of Fame this year? You're out of your mind, bro.
I don't get it. Yeah, I'm 333 and 178 in his career. 31 and 13 playoffs. 31 and 13 in the playoffs. I mean, we know Bill Belichick. I know I don't care if he goes to North Carolina for 15 years and he's there shitting it up. Still the greatest coach of all time.
He's still first ballot Hall of Fame head coach.
Don't care. So, yeah, I agree with you. Those years after the team was not good anymore, that doesn't matter to me. I don't care about that. 8 Super Bowls.
When we were younger and all these, Deflategate and stuff like that came out, we were like, oh, that's why they're winning the Super Bowl. That's why they're having all this success. We're older and we have to understand that, yes, that happened. But that man was the greatest head coach of all time. You can't tell me that going to 6 Super Bowls, winning 6 Super Bowls as a head coach, okay? As a head coach, 6 Super Bowls as a head coach, okay? As a head coach, you win 6 Super Bowls. You have the greatest quarterback of all time, and I completely understand that. But you also put up some of the best defenses of all time. You drafted Gronk. You drafted a whole bunch of different Hall of Famers. You put up a resume nobody else could put up. Nobody in history has ever done this in the NFL. People have got in the Hall of Fame for less. You're talking about quarterbacks from the 70s who maybe threw less. They've thrown less freaking touchdowns than Bill Belichick has wins in their careers. And they're in the freaking Hall of Fame. And you have this man who's done everything upon everything. I don't care about the Browns. I don't care about what he did after Tom Brady left. I don't care about North Carolina. Forget all of that. He is a 6-time Super Bowl winning head coach, a 3-time coach of the year. There's nobody who's going to have anything like his Patriots dynasty. Ever. Ever. That's like Michael Jordan Bulls numbers. But 11 people decide that, hey, you know what? He's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. He did this. I heard there was a story saying that, like, one of the dudes who had a vote was on the Colts and some other rival for the Patriots. And he said that in an interview, he was like, oh, yeah, I definitely voted for Bill Belichick. And then an interview after that, he was like, well, maybe. I don't know if I remember voting for Bill. I'm not sure. Come on, bro. Like, y'all found reasons to keep this man out the Hall of Fame, and that's wrong. That is so wrong.
Very.
I'm speechless. We got all the words out. I'm speechless. Bill Belichick should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. We all know this.
What you doing, Canton? Fix the Canton.
It's a shame that happened to this man. It's a shame for real.